Anna Wallace stepped out of her car, the bright sunlight reflecting off the sleek glass facade of Crystal Haven Mall. For most people, this was just another busy Saturday. For Anna, however, this was her first unannounced visit to the shopping center she had recently acquired. Dressed in simple jeans, a plain white shirt, and a red MAGA hat, Anna walked confidently toward the entrance, her demeanor unassuming yet firm. Crystal Haven Mall was a bustling hub of activity, with families navigating toy stores, couples sipping coffee at the cafes, and groups of friends mingling near the fountain in the central atrium. The mall exuded a sense of modernity and comfort, its sleek design and soothing background music providing a welcoming atmosphere. However, Anna knew that no place was without its challenges, and today, she was determined to observe the operations firsthand. As she strolled through the mall, Anna noted the efficiency of the staff and the enthusiasm of the customers. She paused near a toy store, smiling at the sight of children playing with colorful gadgets. A group of teenagers raced past her, their laughter ringing in the air. The mall was thriving, and Anna felt a surge of pride at the bustling activity around her. But not everyone shared Anna's sense of contentment. From across the atrium, Laura Williams, a regular visitor to the mall, froze as her gaze landed on Anna's red cap. To Laura, the hat wasn't just a piece of clothing, it was a provocative symbol. Memories of heated political arguments with loved ones flashed through her mind, and her discomfort turned to irritation. She clenched her fists and made her way to the security desk. At the security station, Mike Carson, a veteran security officer, stood chatting with his colleague Jenny Lopez, who was still learning the ropes of her new job. Laura's arrival interrupted their conversation. "I need to report something," Laura began, her voice sharp with indignation. "There's a woman walking around here with a MAGA hat. It's offensive and completely unacceptable." Mike raised an eyebrow. "Ma'am, is she causing any trouble?" "She doesn't have to," Laura snapped. "That hat is divisive, and it's making people like me feel unsafe. You need to do something about it." Mike hesitated. The mall had no policy prohibiting political attire, but Laura's intensity made him wary. Turning to Jenny, he said, "Let's check it out." The two approached Anna, who was now browsing a craft stall. Anna looked up as they neared, her expression calm but alert. "Good afternoon, ma'am," Mike began. "I'm sorry to bother you, but we've had a complaint about your hat. Some customers find it offensive, and we'd appreciate it if you could remove it or leave the premises." Anna frowned, surprised. "Offensive? I'm just shopping. If the mall has a specific policy against hats like this, I'd like to see it." Mike shifted uncomfortably. "There isn't a specific policy, but we want to ensure everyone feels comfortable." Anna's gaze hardened. "And what about my comfort? I'm not bothering anyone." From behind, Laura interjected, her voice loud and accusatory. "That hat is a symbol of division. You're making people uncomfortable by wearing it here." Anna turned to face Laura, her tone sharp but controlled. "I'm sorry if my hat bothers you, but I have the same right to be here as anyone else. You don't get to dictate what I wear." Tension crackled in the air as a small crowd began to gather. Jenny whispered to Mike, "We should call the manager." Mike nodded and radioed for Sarah Green, the mall's manager. Within minutes, Sarah arrived, her expression a mix of concern and professionalism. Laura wasted no time explaining her side of the story. "She's walking around flaunting that hat," Laura said, her voice rising. "It's offensive and out of place here." Sarah turned to Anna, her tone measured. "Ma'am, I understand your position, but the mall has a responsibility to maintain a welcoming environment. If your hat is causing discomfort, I must ask you to remove it or leave." Anna's eyes narrowed. "I haven't broken any rules, and you can't ask me to leave without a valid reason. This is blatant discrimination." Sarah hesitated but felt the pressure of the growing crowd. "I'm sorry, ma'am, but this is my decision." Anna stared at Sarah for a long moment before nodding. "Very well, I'll leave, but you'll regret this." With that, Anna walked out of the mall, her composure intact despite the murmurs of the onlookers. Laura crossed her arms, a satisfied smile on her face, while Mike and Jenny exchanged uneasy glances. Sarah, too, felt a nagging sense of unease but pushed it aside. Sunday morning dawned with an unusual quietness in the Crystal Haven Mall management office. Sarah Green sat at her desk, reviewing the weekly sales reports. The numbers looked steady, even promising. but she couldn't shake the uneasy feeling lingering from the previous day's incident. She had done what she thought was best under pressure. Yet something about the decision gnawed at her. Her unease turned to alarm when an email from the regional director, David Sterling, arrived in her inbox with the subject line, "Emergency meeting. Incident at Crystal Haven." Her heart sank as she opened it. The email was brief but direct. "Sarah, we need to address an urgent issue regarding yesterday's events at the mall. Be in the meeting room at 10 a.m. sharp." By 9:50, Sarah was seated in the meeting room, accompanied by Mike and Jenny. Both security officers looked visibly tense. Mike rubbed his temple, while Jenny fidgeted nervously with her ID badge. At precisely 10 o'clock, the screen at the end of the room lit up, and David Sterling's stern face appeared on the video call. His eyes scanned the room before he began. "Good morning," he said, his tone clipped. "Let me get straight to the point. Yesterday, a serious incident occurred at Crystal Haven Mall, and I want an explanation." Sarah straightened in her chair, summoning her professionalism. "Mr. Sterling, yesterday we had a situation with a customer wearing a politically sensitive hat. Several customers complained, and I made the decision to ask her to leave to maintain a harmonious environment." David's gaze hardened. "Did you know that the woman you asked to leave was Anna Wallace, the new owner of Crystal Haven Mall?" The room fell silent. Sarah's face drained of color, and Mike and Jenny exchanged wide-eyed glances. Sarah stammered, I didn't know, sir." David leaned forward, his tone cold. "It doesn't matter whether you knew. What matters is that you handled the situation poorly. I reviewed the security footage and read the reports. Ms. Wallace wasn't causing any disturbance. Your actions were driven by personal biases, and they've jeopardized the mall's reputation." Sarah lowered her head, her voice faltering. "Sir, I believed I was acting in the best interest of the mall." David's tone didn't soften. "You acted impulsively, without considering the consequences. Crystal Haven Mall has always prided itself on being a place that welcomes everyone. Yesterday, you failed to uphold that commitment." He turned his attention to Mike and Jenny. "And what about you two? Do you believe you handled the situation appropriately?" Mike cleared his throat, his voice tinged with remorse. "Sir, I felt uneasy about the decision, but I was following orders." Jenny nodded, tears welling in her eyes. "It was my first time dealing with something like this, and I didn't know what to do. I'm so sorry." David sighed, his expression softening slightly. "I understand that you were following orders, but that doesn't absolve you of responsibility. As security officers, you're expected to assess situations carefully and make sound decisions, even under pressure." He shifted his focus back to Sarah. "As for you, Sarah, I'm afraid I can't overlook this. Effective immediately, you are terminated from your position as manager. Crystal Haven Mall needs a leader who can act professionally and fairly, especially in challenging situations." Sarah's lips trembled as she rose from her seat. Without a word, she left the room, leaving a heavy silence behind her. David addressed Mike and Jenny again. "You'll both attend mandatory training sessions on handling sensitive situations and fostering inclusivity. Consider this an opportunity to learn and improve." Both nodded solemnly, their expressions a mix of regret and determination. Anna Wallace sat in her office the next morning, her calm demeanor masking the frustration simmering beneath the surface. She had spent the weekend reviewing the incident and drafting plans for a comprehensive transformation of the mall's culture. Her phone buzzed, and David Sterling's name appeared on the screen. She answered, her voice steady. "David, Anna," he began, "I want to apologize on behalf of the management team. What happened was unacceptable, and I assure you that changes are underway." "I appreciate that, David," Anna replied, "but apologies aren't enough. This isn't just about one incident. It's about the culture of this mall. If we don't address the underlying issues, this will happen again." David agreed. "What do you propose?" Anna leaned back in her chair, her mind racing. "First, we need a clear code of conduct for employees and customers. Everyone who enters this mall should know that this is a place of respect and inclusivity." "Agreed," David said. "What else?" "Second," Anna continued, "every staff member needs training on handling sensitive situations and overcoming personal biases. I want this mall to be a model of how businesses can embrace diversity." David smiled faintly. "You have my full support. Let's make it happen." Over the next few weeks, Crystal Haven Mall underwent a profound transformation. Signs with the words, Crystal Haven, respect and welcome for all, were installed at every entrance. Information desk and employee break room. Training sessions were held for all staff, focusing on effective communication, conflict resolution, and inclusivity. Mike and Jenny embraced the opportunity to learn and grow. During one session, Mike shared his perspective. I realized that as security officers, we're not just here to enforce rules. We're here to make everyone feel safe and welcome. Jenny added, I used to think my job was just following orders. But now I understand that I have a responsibility to act with empathy and fairness. Anna attended every session, sharing her vision and encouraging open dialogue. She held forums where employees could voice their concerns and ideas, fostering a sense of community. 3 weeks after the transformation efforts began, Crystal Haven Mall prepared for a major event, a weekend cultural festival showcasing local artists, food vendors, and performers. Anna Wallace saw this as an opportunity to reinforce the mall's commitment to inclusivity while drawing in a larger crowd. Flyers with the slogan, Crystal Haven, a place for everyone, were distributed. And the mall buzzed with anticipation. On the morning of the festival, the atrium brimmed with activity. Vibrant booths displayed handcrafted goods, while the aroma of diverse cuisines filled the air. A stage in the central area featured musicians performing songs from around the world. Families, couples, and groups of friends mingled, creating an atmosphere of joy and connection. But as the day progressed, tensions surfaced. Near one of the booths showcasing traditional clothing, a heated argument broke out between two customers. One, a middle-aged man wearing a patriotic-themed shirt, accused the other, a younger man wearing a cultural emblem, of promoting division. Their voices grew louder, drawing the attention of passers-by. Mike, now more confident in his role, approached with Jenny at his side. Gentlemen, he said calmly, stepping between them, this is a public space where everyone is welcome. Let's take a moment to de-escalate. The older man crossed his arms, his voice sharp. I have a right to speak my mind. He's flaunting something that doesn't belong here. Jenny stepped in, her tone firm yet empathetic. Sir, everyone here has a right to express themselves. Just as you do. This festival is about celebrating diversity, not creating conflict. The younger man nodded but added, I'm not trying to cause trouble. I just wanted to share my culture. Mike placed a hand on the older man's shoulder. We understand your concerns, but let's focus on enjoying the event. If you still feel strongly, we can discuss it privately. The man hesitated, then sighed. Fine, just keep things fair. He walked away, and the younger man returned to his booth, visibly relieved. Anna, who had been observing from a distance, approached Mike and Jenny. You handled that well, she said with a smile. De-escalation isn't easy, but you showed professionalism and compassion. Mike grinned. Thank you, Miss Wallace. The training really helped. As the festival continued, a new challenge emerged. A viral social media post accused the mall of bias, claiming that certain vendors were given preferential treatment. The post spread quickly, stirring online debates and attracting media attention. Anna called an emergency meeting with the management team that evening. We need to address this head-on, she said. Transparency is key. Let's release a statement clarifying our vendor selection process and invite feedback from the community. Rachel, the new mall manager, nodded. I'll draft the statement and work with the PR team to ensure it's widely shared. Anna also proposed a community forum to allow vendors and customers to voice their concerns. This isn't just about defending ourselves, it's about listening and learning, she said. The community forum, held a week later, drew a large crowd. Anna stood at the front of the room, her presence commanding but approachable. Vendors, customers, and local leaders filled the seats, their expressions ranging from curiosity to skepticism. Thank you all for being here, Anna began. We're here to address your concerns and find ways to improve together. Crystal Haven Mall is committed to being a place where everyone feels respected and valued. Several vendors raised concerns about booth placement and promotional efforts. Anna listened intently, taking notes and responding with sincerity. We hear you, she said. Our goal is to create opportunities for everyone, and we'll revise our processes to ensure fairness. The dialogue fostered understanding and collaboration. By the end of the evening, tensions had eased, and attendees left with a renewed sense of trust. In the months that followed, Crystal Haven Mall flourished. Sales rose as more customers felt welcomed, and the cultural festival became an annual tradition. Employees embraced their roles with renewed pride, and the mall's reputation as an inclusive space spread far and wide. One day, Anna strolled through the mall, her heart swelling with pride. She paused at the central fountain, watching families laugh and children play. Nearby, Mike and Jenny chatted with customers, their confidence and warmth shining through. Laura Williams, the customer who had initially sparked the incident, approached Anna with a smile. "Miss Wallace," she said, "I just wanted to thank you. This place feels so different now, so much better." Anna smiled warmly. "Thank you, Laura. It's taken all of us to make this happen." As Anna walked toward the exit, she glanced at the large sign above the entrance. "Crystal Haven. Respect and welcome for all." The words glowed brightly, a testament to the journey the mall had taken. Anna knew there was always more work to be done, but for now, she allowed herself a moment of satisfaction. Crystal Haven had become more than a shopping mall, it was a thriving community. A place where everyone belonged. Anna Wallace was not one to rest on her accomplishments. While Crystal Haven Mall had successfully transformed into a symbol of inclusion and community, Anna saw an opportunity to expand this model to other malls under her ownership. She envisioned a network of shopping centers that prioritized respect, diversity, and a sense of belonging, setting a new standard for commercial spaces. One morning, Anna convened a meeting with her regional leadership team. Seated around the polished conference table were managers from her other properties, as well as key staff from Crystal Haven. Among them was Rachel, who had quickly proven herself as a capable leader. "Good morning, everyone," Anna began, her tone brisk but warm. "Today, we're not just talking about Crystal Haven. We're discussing how to replicate its success across all our properties. What we've achieved here can, and should, become a model for every shopping center we own." The room buzzed with curiosity and excitement. Rachel spoke up first. "Miss Wallace, I think the cultural changes we implemented here are scalable, but they'll need to be adapted to fit the unique dynamics of each location." "Exactly," Anna replied. "Every mall is different. What worked here might need tweaking elsewhere. That's why I want each of you to conduct a detailed assessment of your properties. Identify the cultural strengths and challenges, and then we'll develop tailored action plans." As the initiative rolled out, Anna encountered unexpected resistance. At one of her older properties, Greenfield Plaza, the management team pushed back against her proposed changes. "Miss Wallace," said the mall's general manager, Tom Harris, during a tense video call, "I understand your intentions, but Greenfield is different. Our customer base is more traditional. I'm not sure this focus on inclusivity will resonate here." Anna's gaze remained steady. "Tom, inclusivity isn't a trend, it's a principle. Our goal isn't to alienate anyone but to create a space where everyone feels comfortable. I'm not asking for overnight transformation, but I need your commitment to take the first steps." Reluctantly, Tom agreed to implement initial measures, including a customer feedback survey and staff training sessions. Anna knew that real change would take time, but she remained steadfast in her vision. Meanwhile, in other locations, the initiative gained momentum. At Harborview Galleria, the introduction of cultural festivals similar to Crystal Haven's led to a significant uptick in foot traffic and sales. Families from diverse backgrounds flocked to the events, delighted by the inclusive atmosphere. One day, Anna received a letter from a single mother who had attended the Harborview Festival. The woman described how her young daughter, who wore a hijab, had always felt self-conscious in public spaces. But at the festival, she was greeted with smiles and even found a booth selling beautiful scarves in her style. "This may seem small," the letter concluded, "but you've given my daughter a place where she feels seen and valued. Thank you." Reading those words, Anna felt a renewed sense of purpose. Stories like these reaffirmed that her efforts were making a real difference. As Anna's network of inclusive malls grew, so did the scrutiny. One high-profile critic accused her of prioritizing social goals over profitability, dubbing her approach, "idealism disguised as business." During a live TV interview, Anna addressed the criticism directly. "Inclusivity and profitability aren't mutually exclusive," she said. "When people feel welcome and respected, they spend more time and money in your establishment." It's not just the right thing to do, it's smart business. Her words resonated, sparking conversations in industry circles about the evolving role of shopping malls in modern society. Back at Greenfield Plaza, Tom Harris reluctantly reported positive feedback from customers after the first wave of changes. The feedback survey revealed that many customers appreciated the mall's efforts to create a more welcoming environment. Encouraged by these results, Tom began to take ownership of the transformation process. He organized a meet and greet event where customers could share their ideas directly with the management team. The event turned out to be a success, fostering a sense of collaboration and community. Anna visited Greenfield Plaza a month later. Walking through the mall, she saw subtle but meaningful changes: security guards offering warm greetings, diverse promotional materials in store windows, and a relaxed, welcoming atmosphere. Tom greeted her with a handshake and a sheepish smile. "You were right," he admitted. "I should have trusted the process from the start." Anna smiled. "It's not about being right, Tom. It's about making things better for everyone." By the end of the year, Anna's inclusive model had been adopted across her entire network of malls. Each property adapted the principles to fit its unique character, but all embraced the core values of respect and welcome. Word of Anna's success spread beyond the retail industry. She was invited to speak at conferences, sharing her insights on leadership, community building, and the future of commerce. In one keynote address, Anna reflected on her journey. "When I bought Crystal Haven Mall, I didn't set out to make headlines. I just wanted to create a place where people could come together, free from judgment or exclusion. What I've learned is that this vision resonates universally. People don't just want products or services, they want connection, respect, and belonging." Back at Crystal Haven Mall, life continued to flourish. The annual cultural festival grew into a signature event, attracting visitors from across the region. Mike and Jenny, now seasoned leaders, mentored new staff on how to uphold the mall's values. Laura Williams, the customer who once complained about Anna's MAGA hat, became an active volunteer at the mall's community events. She often reflected on how the incident had transformed her perspective. One evening, as Anna stood by the fountain in the center of Crystal Haven, she watched families laughing, couples strolling hand in hand, and groups of friends enjoying the lively atmosphere. The mall was more than a shopping center, it was a testament to the power of change and the strength of community. Anna's gaze shifted to the glowing sign at the entrance: Crystal Haven. Respect and welcome for all. She smiled, knowing that this was only the beginning. With every step forward, she was building a legacy, not just of business success, but of hope and inclusion. Anna Wallace's efforts at Crystal Haven and beyond began to influence not only her properties but the wider retail industry. Articles in business magazines and online publications highlighted her malls as models of inclusivity and community engagement. A leading industry magazine ran a cover story titled, "Reimagining Retail: Anna Wallace's Vision for the Future," which further elevated her approach as a blueprint for success. Crystal Haven Mall wasn't just a shopping center anymore, it had become a hub for community interaction. The mall's management introduced regular events, including charity drives, cultural fairs, and educational workshops. The food court hosted a monthly Taste the World event, where local chefs could showcase cuisines from different cultures. Foot traffic surged, and businesses within the mall reported record-breaking sales. Anna also partnered with local nonprofits to create initiatives that gave back to the community. One program, called Crystal Opportunities, provided part-time jobs and career development workshops for underprivileged youth. The program quickly became a success story, with several participants moving on to full-time roles in retail and hospitality. At one event celebrating the program's first anniversary, a young woman named Carla took the stage. "Before this program, I never thought I'd have a chance to work in a place like this," she said, her voice steady but emotional. "Now I'm not just working, I'm thriving. Thank you for believing in people like me." Anna, sitting in the audience, felt a swell of pride. These were the moments that made her mission worthwhile. With success came new challenges. Maintaining the culture of respect and inclusivity became harder as the mall expanded its operations and hired more staff. At one point, a minor dispute in a store escalated when a customer accused an employee of being dismissive. Though the incident didn't spiral into a larger issue, It served as a reminder that the journey toward inclusivity was ongoing. Rachel, the manager of Crystal Haven, addressed the staff after the incident. "We've made incredible progress. But progress doesn't mean perfection. It means being willing to learn and grow every single day." Anna echoed this sentiment during a leadership meeting. "We can't let our success make us complacent. This culture we've built isn't something we achieve once, it's something we commit to every day." While Anna dedicated herself to her work, she also began reflecting on her personal journey. Her decision to wear the MAGA hat that sparked the initial incident had been deliberate, a symbol of her belief in free speech and resilience. But the events that followed had shown her the complexity of symbols and their impact on others. One evening, Anna had dinner with her close friend, Maya, who had been a sounding board throughout the transformation of Crystal Haven. "You've built something extraordinary," Maya said, raising her glass. "But I have to ask, do you still feel the same about the hat?" Anna smiled thoughtfully. "I've learned a lot since that day. It's not about the hat anymore. It's about the conversation it started and the journey it led me on. I don't regret wearing it. But I've realized that leadership is about more than standing by your principles. It's about understanding how your actions affect others." Maya nodded. "That's growth. And it's why you've succeeded." 5 years after Anna's acquisition of Crystal Haven Mall, the management team organized a grand celebration to mark the occasion. The event featured live performances, speeches, and a showcase of the mall's journey through a gallery of photos and stories from staff and customers. Anna took the stage to deliver a keynote address. The audience, composed of employees, local leaders, and community members, listened intently as she spoke. 5 years ago, I walked into this mall for the first time. Not as its owner, but as a customer. What happened that day could have been just another moment of misunderstanding. Instead, it became a turning point, not just for me, but for all of us." She paused, scanning the room. Today, Crystal Haven isn't just a mall. It's a community. It's proof that when we choose to listen, to respect, and to grow, we create something extraordinary. The audience erupted into applause, and Anna stepped back, allowing the moment to sink in. As she left the stage, she was greeted by Mike and Jenny, who had been promoted to senior leadership roles within the mall's security and operations teams. "You did it," Mike said with a grin. "We all did," Anna replied, smiling. As the celebration wound down, Anna walked through the mall, taking in the sights and sounds. The energy of the place had transformed. It was vibrant, inclusive, and alive with possibility. Families shopped together, children played near the fountain, and people from all walks of life shared the space without judgment. Anna stopped in front of the now iconic sign at the entrance. "Crystal Haven. Respect and welcome for all." She reached out to touch the lettering, feeling the weight of the journey behind it and the promise of the future ahead. Her phone buzzed. A message from Rachel. It was a photo of the evening's event, with a caption, "Here's to the next chapter." Anna smiled. She knew that the work was far from over. But she also knew that the foundation she had built was strong. Crystal Haven Mall was no longer just a shopping destination. It was a movement, a testament to the power of inclusion, and a beacon of hope for what communities could become.